Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash. And I want to say Shalom to Yagnakwat out there, pursuing this truth diligently. Coming at you once again with another lesson. This one's titled, Worldly People Are Dumb and Don't Know Shit. Right? Worldly people are dumb and don't know shit. And of course, I got shit censored for, the whole algorithm. But yeah, worldly people are dumb and don't know shit. It's another edition of dumbasses of the world, and it could really be a series at this point because how the amount of dumb shit that gets spilled out of these worldly people's mouths. This one familiar subject, right? Um, this is from curated Tumblr. I guess it's a another one of those like type of things where they just put a bunch of posts together and they compile them, and Reddit people reap the reward of upvotes from it, right? Just reposting shit. So this person said they reposted it. Say I personally disagree with this poster, but I do agree about sports scholarships. So, and I mean, yeah, the sports scholarship thing was decent enough, I guess. So this person says they say trans people in sports is such a complex issue. It really isn't. Make the sports skill based instead of being segregated by gender. Oh, but so many people's lives depend on sports for scholarships. Okay, then this is the part that actually made sense. Then let's make university universally funded so people don't have to worry about paying for it based on how well they can throw a ball. How are you not keeping up? So that part at the bottom was decent. It says the cis means comfortable in skin. That means biological women, women that were born women. All right, not women that tried to go and not women. See, not women that are only women by dress and not by biological gender. Right? These people, these men, the men that call themselves women. All right. That's not a real woman at the end of the day. You can call yourself a woman, act like a woman, talk like a woman, dress like a woman, and people might call you a woman, but you're not a woman. Okay, you're a woman only by dress. Okay, and I could dress up like Jeff Bezos. Don't make me a billionaire, right? So they say the cis women, the biologically, heterosexual biological women, and girls always lose though. It says, why are you assuming that they can't compete at the same level? Even taking trans people completely out of the equation, why are you assuming biological women can't compete against anyone except other cis women? Why are you infantilizing them? If I was a cis woman, I'd be pissed as fuck if someone said I needed a whole other sports group because I apparently suck so badly at the sport due to my womanhood. And you do. You do suck because of your womanhood. All right? You are not as strong as a biological male. You are not. Okay? A biological woman will never be as strong as a biological man. Ever. Are there a few exceptions? Sure. Sure. There might be some really, really weak man that's only 5'2", weighs 88 pounds, and is very sickly, and a regular biological woman might be able to overpower him. Yes, but is that the average? Is that the norm? No, it's not. Okay, and even I saw a post the other day talking about how on Reddit, mind you, because this is some shit that only the faggots talk about. All right, most normal people, for example, my wife, she understands that a man's stronger. All right, the women at my job understand that a man's stronger. Most women understand that. But it's these fucking faggots, all right, that are trying to push an agenda when it's just wrong. If you're going to push an agenda, at least let it be right, right? Let it be something that's at least semi-factually accurate that you're just blowing out of proportion. No, it's not accurate at all in any capacity, right? You're just wrong. You are just wrong. So this person down here, there's a couple. It said sports are already segregated by skill level. That's what the leagues are. What you see on TV is the top 1.1% of players. The worst guy in the NBA is closer to LeBron's skill level than the average person is the worst guy in the NBA. So there you go. It says my neighbor down the street went to college on a D1 basketball scholarship, but will admit he wasn't even close to being good enough for the pros. He was still absolutely clown on. He will still absolutely clown on high school kids that they're less than half his age, despite his beer belly and bad knee. Right? You have to have a specific skill set to get into anything like that. They're not just accepting anybody. It's not like high school football where pretty much anybody can get in. College really weans it down, and the leagues, oh man, they whittle it down to the like they said, the top 0.1%. All right, when you see those motherfuckers, they are huge. All right, and admittedly, I've never seen one in person, but I'm talking from third-hand experience, from what people have said that have seen them in person. All right, and it said these motherfuckers are ginormous, huge, huge. Right. So let's get the comment that I liked right here. Um, let's see. Um, a lot of people trying to, reason with it. But right here, I liked this one because this is sense. This is sense. To a level, he says some dumb shit about being anti-Maxler, but it says a huge amount of sports are in fact separated. I almost said segregated because that's what the person said, segregated by skill, in that the men's league is actually the open league, where the women's is the restricted one. In many sports, this was done by women for women. It says, to be honest, at this point, denying sexual dimorphism, and that's, the benefits that a man has over a woman biologically, it says in athletic sports is about the same as being a flat earther, an astrologer, or anti-vaxxer. So again, he's comparing it to some, flat earth. Yeah, that's bullshit. Astrology actually has its place in certain levels, but it's not the mainstream like these little white women do it. And then, anti-vax, that's just you haven't researched anything. Okay, you're just going off of what you've been told. And then it says further digging, wiki holing and googling. It says NBA is not gender segregated. One woman has been drafted but never played. NFL, no gender segregation rule but no female players. MLB, gender restriction began in 1952. It was lifted in 1992. Tony Stone was hired, it seems, before the ban and played second base for the Negro Leagues. It says NHL, no gender restrictions. Manon Rehman played in a preseason game for the Tampa Bay Lightning in 1992. No others I can see. PGA lifted restrictions in 1978. 5 women have competed in tour events since 2003. None of them have made the cut, however. This person says, I feel like people downplaying the outright ignoring sexual dimorphism, or as it relates to athletics, have never really played sports in any remotely serious or consistent capacity. I am a cis woman and have played sports all my life, mixed and single sex, casual, club, school teams, and there is a massive difference for me in competing in leagues with dudes in soccer or even freaking frisbee than with women only, which is exactly why we have women's leagues in the first place. It's not because we're delicate flower. It's because it's not fun for us to get steamrolled or by yeeted into dirt by Brad, Tom, or Devin every other play. Additionally, if there were only one league for any sport, how many women do you think would they allow to play on their teams? Like 0 to maybe 1 for show, because they want to win and just plain don't like. It says, and just plain don't like women. Do you know how often men don't ever want to pass to a woman in co-ed soccer leagues, even in the year of 2025? I'm not going to say the rest of that stuff. Do you know how often some men try to intentionally hurt women during these games because they know exactly what the strength difference is and they're annoyed that women are playing with them? So I'm not going to keep on reading her rambling because it goes for a long way. But, if you're on that, you're dumb. All right. If you're still on if you're subscribing to the idea that there's nothing different between a man and a woman, then you're just wrong. All right, you're just wrong. You're wrong. You are purely wrong. Okay? It's a biological difference, and science can prove it. And that's one of the things I hate most about these fucking T's, man, these transformers, is that they'll use science when it's okay for them, but then they won't use it when it actually, calls them out. Okay? It's either science is all wrong or it's all right. All right? And we subscribe to the idea that science is pretty much universally wrong. Is it right sometimes? Occasionally, but it's wrong more than it's right. But these guys are saying science is right more than times that's wrong, but then they go on all these things that science proves them wrong. It's stupid. All right? And worldly people like the lesson. Worldly people are dumb and don't know shit. They're dumb as shit and don't know shit. They have no idea. They have no idea, not a single clue. They don't know what's going on or when it's going on. So let's get 1 Peter 3 and 7. This is a shorter lesson today, right? So 1 Peter 3 and 7. Likewise, the Bible even tells, well, I don't like the Bible. Well, I don't like you, motherfucker. So get out of here then. This ain't for you. 1 Peter 3 and 7. Likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge, giving honor unto the wife as unto the weaker vessel, as and as being hairs together of the grace of life, that your prayers be not hindered. So not only are women are all around weaker, all right? They're weaker, they're the weaker vessel physically, all right? They're the weaker vessel emotionally, all right, and spiritually, all right, spiritually even. And that doesn't mean women can't be spiritual, but they're not as spiritual as a man is spiritual. That doesn't mean they can't be strong, but they're not as strong as a man is strong. Okay, and that, it's they're not emotionally as emotionally strong as a man either. That, women are quick to cry over spilt milk, as they say. Men, if they're a man's crying, hey, something went down. If a woman's crying, I don't know, they might have broken a nail, right? They might have thought they looked ugly or something, or remembered something someone said back in 20 years ago, right? So you got to think about that, all right? But when men do it, they're usually crying because something bad occurred, all right, or is occurring, and that's it. You don't see men crying because, oh, I got a scratch on my nail. The fuck? No, that's not manly at all. Okay, so and if any of you want to disprove that, or disprove it, that all you need to do is you women go and play wrestle with your husband tonight. Go and do it. Go and do it. You think, or if I don't need no man. Cool, your friend, your brother, a male cousin. Go and wrestle with him. Just 5 minutes, not even 5 minutes. Just say, okay, wrestle me. See who wins. See who wins. See who wins. Okay, see who wins. And 9 times out of 10, it's gonna be the man. It's gonna be the man. All right. I'll give you benefit of the doubt that you women are good with grappling. All right, you're good with grappling. With the strength of a woman is only pretty much in her legs. All right, that's it. So they can grapple like a motherfucker, but still, you can still overpower them with your arms. They'll try to grapple you, and you'll overpower them with your arms. All right. So, and it's not about superior, trying to have some superiority complex. We are superior. All right, but that's because the Lord says we're superior, not because we just think that it is. We go off of fact, biblical fact. Okay, that's it. All right, we don't care what you think, how you feel, or this or that. No, we don't care, man. At the end of the day, all right, it's what the Lord says. Okay, and that's how it is. But you can't really persuade a fool any different, man. If they're dumb, these people are stay dumb. They're idiots, and it's vexing to even be out in the world in general, man, because everybody's stupid. Everybody's dumb. It's like George Carlin said. Think about how dumb the average person is, and then realize half of them are dumber than that. Okay, do you know how dumb the average person is? They're fucking stupid, man. And just to think that half of them are even dumber than that. That's astonishing, astounding, really. It's hard to really wrap your mind around it, how dumb the average citizen of not just America, but pretty much everywhere, but primarily America, because Americans are the dumbest motherfuckers ever, all right? And it's a great race of people, or not necessarily a race because it's multiple races. It's a great body of people, all right, that Esau has been allowed to formulate through Yahweh Shem Shai, of just a society of ignorant dumbasses that are very gullible. All right, and the Lord allowed it to happen because Esau's little tricks wouldn't have been able to work if not, right? Otherwise, right, is the word I was looking for. It wouldn't have been able to work otherwise. Okay, people would say, "Wait a minute, I looked into that and that was wrong." People don't look into it; they just buy everything at face value. It makes it really easy for Esau. Makes it real easy. But these dumbasses are there. Look, man, these people are stupid. So the next few scriptures are just about idiots. All right, and what the Bible has to say about them. All right, Proverbs 12 and 15. Here's an infuriating concept. It says, "The way of a fool is right in his own eyes, but he that hearkeneth unto counsel is wise." There you go. There you go. So it's an infuriating concept. That a way of a fool, it's infuriating because you can't argue with stupid. There's that old saying, you can't argue with stupid because his way is right in his own eyes. If someone thinks that the sky is silver, there's nothing that you could do to convince them otherwise. If they're just that dumb, they're trying to prove it scientifically, and it will not work. Trying to show them a picture of silver and then putting it up to the sky and say, "See how they don't match?" will not work. It won't. No matter what you can do, if they're set in their mind about the sky being silver, you can't change their mind. Okay, because like the scriptures say, Proverbs 12 and 15, the way of a fool is right in his own eyes, but he that hearkeneth unto counsel is wise. So the real people that are wise hearkeneth unto correction. All right, counsel. All right, hey man, that was wrong. All right, that's not correct at all. Oh shit, it's not. How do you know? Well, here, and here, X, Y, and Z. Oh damn, I guess I was wrong. All right, well dang. All right, it's the same thing like we talked about yesterday with rebuke. All right, a person say, "Oh, look, I was wrong. I was wrong. What? Yeah, you were wrong, and here's why you're wrong." And they say, "Oh shit, I was wrong. My bad. I need to repent. Thank you for bringing that to my attention." But an idiot, someone who's wise in his own ways, all right, or as another scripture will say, in his own conceit, all right, they're not going to listen. No, no, I know I'm right. I know I'm right. All right, and that type of shit leads you to your death. All right, you'll just die. You will just die. Okay, acting and behaving like that because you're not going to be able to be corrected. Someone says, "Hey, watch out for that wire. That wire's live." I know I know what a live wire looks like. Don't tell me. All right. No, well, guess he's done. Why didn't somebody warn him? I did warn him. But he said, I know what a live wire looks like when you can't even fucking tell just by looking at it. You don't know where it goes. All right. It wasn't sparking. Oh, I'm going to grab it. Well, proof that I was right. All right. That's the only thing you proved. And you never even know it because now your ass is dead. Right here. This is Proverbs 26:12. See a man wise in his own conceit. There is more hope of a fool than of him. So, as a matter of fact, let's get that in the Good News translation. It says, the most stupid fool is better off than someone who thinks he is wise when he is not. Okay. And you got two types of dumb people. You got dumb people that are just dumb. They don't know a lot. All right. And could potentially have the capacity to learn. All right. And then you have dumb people that think they're smart. And so that's the two type. You have dumb people that might have got a bad education, but once you educate them, they're really not dumb. They have the appearance of being dumb. They seem stupid because they don't know anything, but when they have the capacity to learn. And then you have the people that really don't have the capacity to learn. All right, they might seem book smart, all right, or seem smart to people, but really they're dumb. Okay, looks can be deceiving. There's a lot of people that are book smart. They go, oh well, this and this and that, and then you ask them a regular question, they don't know it because they're dumb. They really don't know. They didn't have a book to teach it to them, so they really don't know. All right, they didn't have like these people that they can't tie their shoes. They can't tell you nothing about the Lord. They can't tell you nothing, but they can tell you about mathematics because they happen to read a calculus book once, or that's how it worked in school. The school, they're basically bred up by the school system, right? So that's how it goes. And nobody in this truth is dumb, man. To even have the capacity to understand this truth, you had to have some form of wisdom in there, all right, to begin with, all right. And the Lord doesn't work with idiots, okay. So a lot of us that were in the world, we had at least some form of intelligence. Some of us might not have been the smartest guys in the world, but there was some form of underlying intelligence that we were blessed to have, right? So Proverbs 14:7 says, and this is how you should deal with fools, and I'm going to close out. Just a little shorter one today. I don't know if it's been 15 minutes or 20. Hopefully it's been around somewhere like that. But Proverbs 14:7, it says, go from the presence of a foolish man, when thou perceivest him, not in him the lips of knowledge. The wisdom of the prudent is to understand his way, but the folly of fools is deceit. Fools make a mock at sin, but among the righteous there is favor. So let's go and get those in the Good News translation, and then we'll close out. It says, how homes are made by the wisdom of or wisdom of women. Where are we at? Oh, that's talking about every wise woman buildeth her house, because that's not even what it's talking about. Where the hell? Okay, I don't know why it jumped up. Can you stay it? All right, right here. I don't know what happened there. Proverbs 14:7 in the Good News, it says, stay away from foolish people. They have nothing to teach you. Why is a clever person wise? Because he knows what to do. Why is a stupid person foolish? Because he only thinks he knows. Foolish people don't care if they sin, but good people want to be forgiven. Okay, so that's great. Okay, that's fantastic. So let me read it again here. We'll go from 7 and 8. It says, go from the presence of a foolish man when thou perceiveth not in him the lips of knowledge. The wisdom of the prudent is to understand his way, but the folly of fools is deceit. So there you go. And these people, these worldly people, they're dumb as shit. All right, they don't know shit. They don't know nothing. They couldn't even tell you that their ass from their elbow, man. They don't know nothing. All right, And especially they don't know nothing, they don't know shit, right? And shit's referring to worldly shit, all right? Let alone blessed knowledge of this Bible. They're not going to know that if they don't even know shit, right? It's like the Lord said, if you didn't believe me when I told you of earthly things, how much will you not believe me when I tell you of heavenly things? Roughly paraphrasing. Of course, it's not how it was actually said, but yeah. So you think we're gonna, we tell them? Yeah, we can tell them all day. But a fool is wise in his own conceit. All right, you can't tell him nothing. All right, you can't. A stupid person, you can't tell them nothing because they already think they know. All right. It's like I said, if somebody thinks, a car is a crumpled up piece of paper on the ground, you say, oh, this is a car. You say, no, that's a crumpled up piece of paper. No, it's a car. You can't change that person's mind. They're dumb. All right, they're conceited. They're set in their ways. It's really a prideful concept. Okay, just like with not accepting rebuke, they don't want to learn. They think they know what's best. So you can fuck off and kick rocks. I know what's best. I know what's best. Right? And that's disorderly, man. All right, and that's why they're dumb as shit and they don't know shit because the Lord hasn't even reached out to them to impart any sort of wisdom, knowledge, or understanding into them. Okay, they're just dumb. They're just dumb. So that's what we're going to close out with, right? A little bit of a shorter lesson today. Lord, what was edifying, nonetheless. All right. Once again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. I want to say shalom to you brothers and sisters out there. Keep enduring, keep the faith. We're almost out of here. Until next one, Lord willing, shalom.